What's real? What's real? The closest thing I know to what's real is what I see when I go hiking. Right? Nature is real. How many people here go hiking regularly? Raise your hands. That's pretty good. I just spent 6 weeks in Africa doing a wilderness survival course, learning how to live off the land, tracking animals, learning their behavior, learning the trees, the bird call. The bird call was the hardest thing for me. There's 900 birds in the region we were in, and you're supposed to hear a bird and say, oh, that's a so-and-so, yellow-billed, hornbill, blah, and it's a female, and it's saying this. I never played piano, you know what I mean? Like, so you have to learn how to hear the birds and understand the dynamics of the environment with how the animals move and the flux and all this kind of stuff. And I'll tell you something, there's something so satisfying about being in nature where things are predictable and things are tangibly real. Because what happens is, we have developed the capacity, and it's a wonderful capacity. I'm not a Luddite. I'm not saying let's smash everything and go back to nature and live in huts like Ewoks, right? We've developed the capacity to invent things and create things, right? We've gotten really smart. But what happens is, you have people that spend their entire day staring at one of those screens, looking at the fluctuations between the yen, the dollar, and the euro, and going buy, sell, right? And they're all freaking stressed out and like worked up over like something that happened because the Prime Minister of Japan said something to so-and-so over there, and now the yen's dropping, and da-da-da-da-da, and oh my God, I'm never gonna be able to afford this stupid boat that I bought. Oh, right? But when you look at that, what is that? Yes, okay, sure. We have economic systems, there's models, there's theories, there's math behind it, and it all kind of works. We made that up. We made that crap up, okay? And so the more we fixate on the things that we made up, the less connected we are to the things that are actually real, which is that acorn out there on the floor that you can hold in your hand and you can put it on the ground and it becomes a tree, okay? And there's something incredibly therapeutic about connecting with what is actually real versus fixating on what is abstract, okay? We have an incredible amount of abstract information and human-created stuff that comes into our lives on a day-to-day basis. And it's great. I mean, like, I love using my ATM check card instead of carrying around cash. Right? I like having my cookies on my computer and just, you know, clicking on the one button thing that sends the books to my house from Amazon.com, right? Super cool. You know, I don't have to drive down to the bookstore and pick cash out of my pocket. I mean, these things, we've created these mechanisms so that we can live better amongst each other and be able to have our society kind of function better. Fine, cool. But there's something that happens to the psyche when we become disconnected from that which is our source that creates a very disruptive energy inside the human psyche, okay? What do we need to survive? Food's pretty cool, right? If you were out there, you'd probably think shelter is not a bad idea, right? What else? I mean, we need it to be warm enough. We need to drink water. What else? Sure, love. Sure. What else? I'm on one hand here. Safety. Is it? Vitamin D. Sure. Sunlight. What else do we need to survive? I'm running out of items here.
Health.
Right?
Health.
Health, sure. Sure, and the shelter, the food, and those things really help that, right? Like these things all kind of grow. But that, I mean, that's it. So, again, if you boil it down to that which we actually need, you'll realize that all this other stuff outside in these outer concentric circles of things that we want are wants, not needs, right? And you can boil life back down to the simplest and most common denominator, because those are the things that make us human. Those are the things that we started with. I mean, you think about it, go back 2 million years. I was actually, a few weeks ago, I was in a cave around the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa, where the first Homo sapiens after the last ice age had survived, and it was where our species had been able to hunker down, get through an ice age, and then when the thaw started happening, that's where we kind of came out and started like going back into Africa and populating the world. Okay? Those guys had no idea about the crap that we think about on our day-to-day basis. It was cold. There were some big animals that were trying to eat them. Okay? Food runs fast if you want protein. And you have to run faster and outthink it. Okay? If not, you're out there digging and drinking up roots and all kinds of crap all day. Right? Not easy. But that was it. Okay? That's all we fixated on for years and years and years, because that's all we had to do. We had to eat. We had to survive. Okay? And then it starts to thaw, things start getting a little better. We start figuring things out. Hey, I really like this plant. If I dig it up and put it over here by my cave, then it'll grow here, and then I don't have to walk 30 miles a day to get it. Right? And so we started going from hunter-gatherer to agrarian, right? And something really silly happened here. Our entire civilization was predicated and built on us being able to take vegetables and domesticate them and grow them and be able to build on our abundance with them, right? Our entire civilization, all of culture started with farming, because what happens is then you have grains, then you need to organize the crops, then someone has to like keep the crops and ship them, and then someone has to count the crops, and then you start doing transactions and all this kind of stuff. So then you get a guy who does transactions versus the guys that are all growing food. And so you start having differentiation of labor, whereas in hunter-gatherer days, we just cruise out and grab some food and sit down and eat it, right? And so it started to get more and more complicated. Vegetables became the basis of the change of society, and now society has turned us all into vegetables. Oops, right? The hunter-gatherers had healthy bones, healthy teeth. They'd cruise around all day. It wasn't that much hard work after the Ice Age. They would like forage for a couple hours a day, and then they'd chill out. And that's how we started to develop as a species, because then we had all this time on our hands because we were smart, and then we started like drawing on caves and talking about stuff,